And so I believe when there is no light, you have to be the light. Because, my man, we all have moments, but it's those moments when you're by yourself, when all you have is yourself, that allows you to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back in the game. And so I just learned how to steward those moments. When I'm faced with moments in my life where I want to give up, that lets me know, don't give up, keep going. Because if I give up, my story will end. But if I keep going, my story would just keep beginning over and over and over again.
Thank you for tuning in. This episode, I've got a friend, a guy I've been fortunate to share a stage with. He is an amazing human being. He's a speaker, a writer, a coach. He's the author of the book, Ever Faithful, Ever Loyal. He's got a Tedx talk that you can find. It's linked up here. He's also won an Emmy for his story that they've shared on ESPN. You can find his website, inspiredbyta.com, and you can find him on social media at Inspired by TA. You will find him inspiring. Welcome to the show, Mr. Timothy Alexander. Tim, welcome to the Elev8 podcast, TA.
Yes, sir.
Excited to connect with you. It's been a while. Before we jump in, one just with the recent several weeks, recording this now, George Floyd's murder, several other instances of brutality across this country, and the movement we've all been witness to across America and the world. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's on your mind?
Yes, I said I'm doing better now, man. With so much going on in this world, I'm just honored to know that I'm not alone, that we are not alone, and that now this country, this entire nation is mourning. It's mourning for love. It's mourning for one another. And just being quite frankly, I wasn't sitting too well with it because still as a culture, as a minority, we're still having to explain ourselves. Explain how we've been oppressed way before we ever were even thought of. And it started with our ancestors and the systematic racism, all these different things. And I'm just now to a point to where I'm happy that the world is understanding that it's not just black and white, it's everybody versus racism. And I think if we help ourselves, if we help others in return, we'll be able to help this nation and we will be able to move forward because the world love right now, and that's what we need to be displaying.
Beautifully said. Spending a lot of time, we met, in an environment working with young athletes and youth leaders, and I know you speak all around the country. What's one way teammates can maybe help their teammates of minority right now, the white kids out there that are still learning, they don't know, but what's one way they can support their teammates right now?
Well, I think that sports help athletes understand that you need each other. The center needs the quarterback. The quarterback needs the offensive line. The offensive line needs the receivers. The receiver needs the offensive line. The receiver needs the cornerback. I mean, every joint supplier. And so I'm just making it personal. I challenge my teammates, not my teammates, I'm sorry. I've challenged my players and my former teammates to remind themselves of the team that we was on. And every team that I played for, I was always taught to love my teammate as I love myself. And loving my teammate didn't have anything to do with the color of their skin. It had everything to do with them being my teammate, is why I wanted to love them, take a stand for them, and be there with them through the ups and downs.
That's great. I know we're going to ask you a little bit more about some of your personal story here in a moment, but I know on one of the things I've watched from the ESPN story, your mom says on the clip, when people would ask her, you know, which one's your son? And she would say number 87. And you would also, you know, tell people, you know, when they asked you what position in football you played, you would tell them you are a motivational player. How bad do you need some motivational players in our life?
We need motivational players in our life like never before. A motivational player is just as important as nutrition, if you ask me, because a motivational player, they're going to motivate you, they're going to inspire you, and they're going to let you know that we are in this together. Today, I had a unique opportunity to practice social distancing at UAB while being around some athletes and just letting them know we are in this together. We're not going to give up on each other. We're going to be ready. We're going to stay the course. No retreat, no surrender. And so when you have people in your life that's rooting for you to keep going, you keeping going, you'll be able to keep going and not worry about the adversity that you face, because you know that as long as you have your motivational player, as long as you have someone in your corner, the adversity you face will resolve itself as long as you keep moving forward.
It's awesome. So you said kind of a lead into the next question of adversity. You've conquered loads of it, in my opinion, literally running through fire at one point in your life. Can you tell us, for people that don't know, a little bit about your story that won an Emmy for being shared on ESPN?
Yeah, well, a little bit about my story. Again, my name is Timothy Alexander, and I grew up here in Birmingham, Alabama. Single parent. I come from a single parent family. My mom and dad was divorced when I was 5 years old, so I come from a single parent household. I grew up on free and reduced lunch. Didn't really have much, but I worked to have it all. And I remember finding my vision at a young age, and my big three, my big goals, if I could accomplish anything, my three was to make it to the NFL, earn an education, and come back and do something for myself and for my family. And I just started being resilient, responding to adversity. I started understanding at a young age I can't control life, but I can control how I respond. And so I start responding through the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, the highs and the low, and things began to work out for me. My senior year in high school, because I just was moving the chains and just kept trying to be resilient and respond to adversity. I found myself my senior year in high school, ranked number 8 in the state, with the opportunity to go and play ball anywhere in the country. And I'll never forget, Tyler, that the day after I had the leading block to send my team to the playoffs as a tight end. After I jumped into my coach's arm, my coach told me, you'll be able to go to any school you want to go to. After I ran home and told my Mom, I'm going to make it to college. I'm going to earn an education. I'm going to do something for myself and for my family. The next day, my friend fell asleep behind the wheel, and so I went holding the next. I went from being the talk of the town because I was a star athlete to being the talk of the town because doctors were saying I never walk or talk again.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can imagine, it's left me very depressed and suicidal. But I was able to bounce back because I started first with my mind. I figured out who I was. I redefined who I was. I redefined why I was here, and I redefined who I was going to dedicate my life to. And so I kind of started moving my life in those areas of creating a life that I would be comfortable with, creating a life that I would be acceptable with. That way I can respond in any situation. And I end up doing that. I end up graduating from Wallace State Community College, and I started school taking math 098 and reading 096. These are remedial classes. But I end up graduating, and I'll never forget, I had an aspirate of hope because I graduated from Wallace State Community College in spite of being labeled a traumatic brain injury and having to relearn how to read and write at 17 years old. And I told myself, 2 years later after I graduated, after I moved from being the special kid to really being a special kid that changed the status quo, I told myself that if I can graduate here, I can graduate from anywhere. And so what I did was enrolled at the University of Alabama in Birmingham after I had a dream of going back to play ball, and I enrolled there, and I got to UAB, and I became the first paraplegic to ever receive a full ride in football, and I never touched the field.
It's awesome. Yeah. You mentioned there along your journey, and it's one of the things I love about you is the vulnerabilities that you'll share, and um, so many different ways. But I feel like so many athletes now, through their adversity are in dark times, or they're going to be through dark times. There might be some ahead. What are some of the things when you mentioned feeling suicidal and that depression? What were some of the things that helped you see light, even though it felt dark?
Well, what really helped me see light, even though I felt dark, is because I was always able to remind myself that it's the reason why I'm here. I never forget after I tried to take my life, commit suicide 3 times in 1 week, I had a shucks moment. I'm like, man, it must be a reason that I'm still here. And so I believe when there is no light, you have to be the light. Because my man, we all have moments, but it's those moments when you're by yourself, when all you have is yourself, that allows you to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back in the game. And so I just learned how to steward those moments. When I'm faced with moments in my life where I want to give up, that lets me know, don't give up, keep going. Because if I give up, my story will end. But if I keep going, my story would just keep beginning over and over and over again.
Love it. Keep writing the story.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
for those listening, if you haven't figured out by now, it's probably making sense why his Twitter handle is inspired by TA. When he's on stage, man, he's electric. He's inspiring. He ignites ambition and all kinds of things. You can't see him on this podcast, but he also has one of the biggest, most beautiful smiles you'll ever see on the planet. What keeps your spirit and that smile going, man?
Man, what really keeps me going is the opportunity to be alive. Tomorrow's not promised to no one. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. And so we might as well maximize today. And because I get an opportunity to move the chains, because I get another opportunity to wake up, that's my touchdown. Because I never forget when I was in the hospital, the doctors told me, man, we don't know if you're gonna make it to see tomorrow. You're on a breathing ventilator. I remember they was asking my mom, did they want to pull the plug? And my mom, I told my mom, if I have to be like this the rest of my life, then guess what? You tell them to pull the plug. But my mom said, we're not going to pull the plug. Blink your eyes if you can hear me. And so I blinked, and my mom said, you're going to live and not die. And so today, I'm thankful because I can blink. I'm thankful because I can dress myself on my own. I'm thankful over the small things, and that allows me to enjoy life. And so I have no complaints. I have no worry. I've conquered my mind. I don't deal with anxiety. I don't deal with depression. I don't deal with suicidal thoughts. And because I've really discovered who I am, I've really discovered who I am, and I've really discovered my identity. All I know is confidence. And so for that, I go through my day with a big smile, just being thankful, because I know everybody doesn't get a second chance at life. But because I was granted the opportunity, a second chance at life, I'm going to make it count. And that's what I do.
Man, no doubt. So, from being told that you might not ever talk again to uh, leading a TEDx talk, which we'll have linked up to this podcast, one of the things you say in the TEDx talk um, is about seeing the words with our eyes that we say out of our mouth.
Right. The main
You,
function of our eyes is to see the main function of our the main function of our eyes is to see what we said out of our mouth. Because the words are something you don't get back. Whatever you say out of your mouth, it goes out and finds what you said and brings it back and drops it off at your feet. And so we got to watch what we say out of our mouth. If I ask you right now, uncommonly, and I say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Well, guess what? Human instinct wise, you're gonna say, I'm doing good. But why don't we move the chains? Why don't we start saying we're doing great, right? And when you say you're doing great, you get a
yeah,
level of energy. You get a level of excitement. It's 2020. We don't want to do good anymore.
that's
Even
right.
great is mediocre, man. We want to be exceptional, right? And so you got to watch what you say out of your mouth. Again, because what you say out of your mouth goes out and finds what you said and brings it back and drops it at your feet.
That's right. Um, so going back, one of the things I always like to ask, if you could get in a time machine and go back and visit 16-year-old Tim, what would you want to share after all the things you've been through, the journey you've gone along? What would you go back and tell your 16-year-old self?
I would go back and tell myself, man, steward these moments, maximize these moments, enjoy being a kid. Don't grow up. Don't try to grow up too soon. Don't think you know it all. You got to fail to keep moving forward because you learn through fail. If you've never failed, you can't teach anyone anything. If you've never been through a test, you can't give a testimony. So suck it up. You may fail, TA, but fall still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, head high to the ceiling. You got to see it through. Wherever you are in life, just see it through because troubles don't last always. That's what I would tell myself.
It's amazing stuff. The TA's book he's also written is called Ever Faithful, Ever Loyal. I'll have that linked up here as well. One of the things I always love that you say, Tim, it's one of the words of wisdom of yours I pass on frequently, is we don't need it to be easy. We just need it to be possible.
Need it to be possible. Yes, sir.
So with that, and wrapping up, the last question we like to ask is, how do you define success?
Well, success to me may be different than you. Success
No
to
doubt.
me is conquering my mind. Success to me is being thankful for the opportunity that I've given to be able to speak and dress and do things on my own. Success to me is just understanding that I'm in a place that I'm happy with. Success to me is also understanding that, TA, if you do what is easy, life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, life will be easy. Success is knowing that I have family and support and I have others around me helping me build my life, helping me build my foundation, because my life is built on the foundation of others who have equipped me and motivated me along the way. That's what I define success as. So success to me is me being able to go to bed at night and wait and to go lay my head down at night, but knowing that I did everything I could to make it to the next day. That's success to me.